We appreciate your company this morning to a very fair story. The Ghana Water Company Limited says revenue mobilization remains a major challenge as persistent non-payment of bills and widespread illegal connections continue to undermine the company's capacity to expand distribution pipelines and improve water treatment infrastructure. Speaking to JoyNews, the company's public relations officer, Stanley Mate, noted that while many consumers default on their water bills, illegal connections further erode GWCL's revenue base, slowing efforts to improve service delivery across the country.
The Ghana Water Limited has had enormous challenges during the course of 2025. I mean, people haven't paid their bills the way we expect, so it's been very difficult managing the company in 2025. Now, our expectation is that people will take on a new leaf come 2026 and pay their bills so that we can have funds in the system to serve our customers the way we want to. We need to build new treatment plants. We need to expand the existing ones. We need to extend pipelines. We need to change the old outmoded equipment, pumps. We need to change old pipelines and all that. That can only be done with revenue. But when people are stealing the water and not paying, it becomes very difficult for us to rope in revenue to enable us to do those things. We can only do those things when we have funds, and the funds only come from the revenue that we collect from, or the litter that we collect from our customers after they have consumed our water. We also have to buy chemicals and buy every input needed for the treatment of water. So if people refuse to pay, then it becomes very difficult for us to have funds and to import all the chemicals and every input needed for the treatment of water. So we'll urge Ghanaians, let's take on a new leaf. Let's pay our bills promptly. Let's stop illegal connections, and let's help Ghana Water Company Limited to serve you better.
Meanwhile, he has urged Ghanaians to use water responsibly as the country approaches the dry season, assuring that GWCL is taking all necessary measures to ensure stable water supply during the festive period.
Now we are also entering into the dry season. The Harmattan season is coming. January, February, we enter into very serious dry season. We also urge that people will use water wisely. As a company, we are doing everything possible to ensure that we maintain our equipment and everything. So during the festivities, we'll be able to serve our people with water. But we expect that whilst water is flowing in your home, you try to use it wisely so that your neighbors can also have some water to dwell on. Let us stop the wastage of water. Water is precious. It's precious and it's life. So if others do not get it, becomes a challenge. But if you are getting, think of your neighbors, and let's ensure that we have a fruitful celebration, very peaceful, calm, and enjoy each other. As a company, we have done everything possible to ensure that there are no technical hitches. Okay, so but predicaments are bound to happen. So we wouldn't give the total assurance that nothing will happen, because we can't even foresee or foretell the future. As humans, we have done what is expected of us, and we'll also pray that everything moves smoothly. So barring any technical hitches, we should have a smooth yield tide. I want Ghanaians to be prosperous so that we'll be able to pay their water bills. If you pay your bill during the around this time, and then in the new year, you could have a gift. So I'll urge everybody to pay their bills. So you could pay at a collection point, and now we have made it also very easy for customers to pay. You can, in the comfort of your home, you can dial *1010# and follow the prompt to pay your bills.
Now, Member of Parliament for Iwakwa South, Dr. Kingsley Agyemang, has raised alarm over potential public safety and insurance risk following the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority's suspension of the proposed new vehicle number plate system, warning that the continued use of temporary DP and DV plates could expose road users to uninsured accidents and legal uncertainty. Dr. Kingsley Agyemang joins me now. And good morning, Doc, and thanks for joining us this morning.
Hello.
Hi, good morning, Doc. Thanks for joining me this morning.
Good morning. You're welcome.
All right. Now, you welcome the suspension of the new number plate system, but you describe the accompanying directive as dangerous. What specific risk does the continued use of DP and DV plates pose to ordinary road users?
Thank you very much, and I have to be here for your seriousness. The suspension is in order, but the accompanying directive, as already said, poses a public safety issue. You know, the DP and the DV have limited scope in terms of insurance. When it comes to the DP, the third-party risk that it covers is basically covers just the driver and the normal third-party liabilities. The DV covers just the driver and the passenger. So it means that you are causing or you are permitting a vehicle to be on the road without the full complement or the insurability of the subject matter, which is the vehicle that you are putting on the road. This poses a very big threat to our public safety.
All right, Doc. Now, you argue that the DVLA's directive conflicts with the Motor Vehicles Third-Party Insurance Act. Now, does this mean motorists using DP or DV plates could unknowingly be driving without valid insurance cover?
Yes, absolutely. Because the law says that when you authorize or you cause or you permit a vehicle to be on the road, you should be able to have a full complement of a third-party insurance in place. Now, you are causing or permitting or authorizing a vehicle to be on the road without that full complement of third-party insurance, because which is the direct departure support, covers just the driver without the carriers or the other parties in the vehicle. The DV covers the driver and the passenger without the passengers in the vehicle. You and I know that during the last quarter of every year, almost every person that purchases a vehicle will want to register in the new year so that they could have a new number. So you have a huge number of vehicles that will waiting to be licensed in the ensuing year, which is 2026. Now you have been injuncted, meaning that you don't want to, you can't use the new enforcement in the ensuing year. It means that you are putting the whole vehicle at risk for the defective or the ineffectiveness of the insurance provision that I've just mentioned. Because insurance companies cannot go ahead and issue the full third-party motor liability insurance for the DP and the DV plate. That's against the registered vehicles that we have on our roads.
All right. So then what immediate steps do you expect the Minister for Transport and the DVLA to take to regularize DP and DV plates while the policy impasse is resolved?
So what it means is that once you've been injuncted and you have suspended the enforcement of the new enforcement, let's revert to the status quo. People should be able to send their vehicles to DVLA to be licensed or be registered, so that when you are done with your necessary motions and you are free to implement a new policy, then you find a way to align. Because at the stance, you can't send your vehicles to the DVLA on 1st January and you will not issue the plate. It means that you cannot be registered. When you are not registered, you can't complement of third-party motor insurance.
All right. So in practical terms, who bears the liability if an accident occurs involving a vehicle or a DP or DV plate during this until further notice?
So that's a very good question. Unfortunately, and I'm even surprised that we have a Commissioner of Insurance sit on the DVLA board. the main objective of you being a politician is to promote safety and also protect your market that you rep. So, unfortunately, I'm not supposed to be saying this, but we have at the Insurance Commission what we call motor insurance compensation fund. This usually covers uninsured vehicles, hit and run drivers, and stuff like that. So when there's a liability, members of the public may want to resort to this. This is an ex gratia payment or provision. They will not give you the full complement of an insurance cover. So the point is, why would you want to get to that level before you insure public safety when it can be prevented at the very basic? So we are saying that all that I'm promoting is that the DVLA has revert to its original ways of registering vehicles from the 1st of January. The public should be well informed that they can go back and have their vehicles registered by their motor insurance. And my sister, you see, when it comes to Ghana, I don't know, but it's a common market practice. The value of a vehicle is more linked or aligned to the year of registration. That is why during the last quarter, everybody wants to have their vehicle registered in the ensuing year, so that it gives it some form of sentimental value that they attach to it. There are a lot of DPs and DVs in the system. And you are saying that if you continue to use them until further notice, it means that there's a lot of liability, third-party liability that you are exposing the members of the public to. It is not in line with the law. Even though in your quest to have your administrative procedures done, you can't override a statutory provision.
All right. So beyond this issue, what does this situation reveal about stakeholder engagement and legislative preparedness in Ghana's transport and road safety reforms?
I mean, in Parliament, it was quite clear. There was not much stakeholder engagement. They didn't give much regard to the legislative instrument that regulates the whole transport operations. So that is how come they could not meet the timeline. Because there's something before us. But we are on recess now. So it's about time we align policy with legislative frameworks. You can't just be in your office and come up with an idea. Ideas are good, but you must check the ideas with the various regulations that goes with it before you do your announcement. I believe that if broader stakeholder engagement had happened, we wouldn't have come to that point.
All right, thank you so much for talking to us, Dr. Kingsley Ajiman. Dr. Kingsley is the MP for Ibuakwa South. Now, the Tema Oil Refinery has resumed crude oil refining operations after several years of inactivity following the successful completion of major maintenance works and regulatory clearance from the National Petroleum Authority. Refining restarted on December 19, 2025, with petroleum products sent into storage for the first time in years. TOR is currently operating at 28,000 barrels per stream a day and is expected to ramp up to its original capacity of 45,000 barrels per day after the commissioning of a new furnace with plans to expand further. The restart marks a significant boost to Ghana's energy security and downstream petroleum sector. The following report has more.
The Tema Oil Refinery Limited has resumed crude oil refining operations after several years of inactivity, marking a major milestone in efforts to revive Ghana's downstream petroleum sector. The resumption follows the successful completion of major turnaround maintenance works on the refinery's crude distillation unit. The maintenance, which lasted 3 months, was carried out in line with international engineering, safety, and operational standards. Following the works, the National Petroleum Authority conducted comprehensive inspections and confirmed that the refinery had met all mandatory regulatory requirements. The authority subsequently granted clearance for refining operations to resume. With that approval, crude oil refining officially started on Friday, December 19, 2025, with all petroleum products now being sent into storage for the first time in several years. years. The period will be used to stabilize systems, optimize performance, and ensure long-term operational reliability ahead of the refinery's formal recommissioning. Meanwhile, the refinery has completed the installation of a new furnace known as F61, which is expected to be commissioned and integrated into the crude distillation unit in the coming weeks. The upgrade will allow TOR to increase output from the current 28,000 barrels per stream day to its original capacity of 45,000 barrels per stream day, with plans to expand to 60,000 barrels per stream day in the medium term. The government of Ghana is expected to formally commission the new furnace at a later date, with details to be communicated to stakeholders and the public.
Now, energy expert Kojo Poku has been discussing this development on Prime Morning.
Now, let me go through a very miscommunication and misinformation that the NDC is putting out to Ghanaians. Nobody was selling TOR for $22 million. It's not true. This is what happened. There is always two schools of thought. One is that if you want to get TOR working, how do you go about it? Finding money to do turnaround maintenance has never been a problem at all. TOR has a lot of things that they have to do. Now, do you use your internal money to do those turnaround maintenance, or you find a partner who will commit to do the internal turnaround maintenance? With that commitment, he will now commit to also toll with you for a period of 5 to 6 years. You remember what the gentleman said, that finding crude is the biggest challenge for TOR. So the two school of thought is that if you can find a partner who will say that, look, I can bring you crude for 5 years, but to be able to bring you crude for 5 years, I want to now go into partnership agreement with you. I will spend my own money to retool, to refurbish the refinery.
Dr. Adam Bona is the Executive Secretary of the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons. NACSA has urged Ghanaians in possession of unlicensed firearms to return them, with the assurance that there will be no arrest or persecution or questioning under the ongoing gun amnesty program. He emphasized that the program, which was launched on December 1st, 2025, allows individuals in possession of unregistered or illicit guns to voluntarily surrender or formally register them at any police station without fear of legal consequence. Dr. Bona reiterated that police stations have been instructed to accept weapons without interrogation or arrest as part of efforts to reduce the circulation of illegal firearms and enhance public safety. He highlighted that the policy aims to encourage responsible action from citizens and to retrieve weapons that pose risk to national security. The amnesty window is set to run until January 15, 2026, after which penalties and prosecutions for illegal possession will resume. We have been joined via Zoom by Dr. Adam Bona, who is the Executive Secretary of the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons. Thanks for joining us, Doc.
Thank you for having me. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance to your viewers and listeners.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you too. Now, how many arms have been retrieved so far?
Well, we have retrieved several weapons have been surrounded from all over the country, all the 16 administrative regions of the country and all the 25 police regions of the country. So the exercise started, it was legally declared on the 1st of December by the Honorable Interior Minister, and it is to end on the 15th of January 2026. And prior to that, we have had series of activities, and that centered around ensuring that we train all officers who are supposed to be part of the Amnesty program. We did the TOT, trainer of the trainers in Accra, and then they in turn went back to the regions to train all officers who are going to be part of it. And this is a collaboration between ourselves, the small arms, the Interior Ministry, the Ghana Police Service. And so together with allied security agencies like the military, the national security, the NIB, and the other, call them immigration, customs, and all that. Within this period, there is no importation of arms have ceased, importation of ammunition have ceased, sale of guns and ammunition have ceased. And so within this period, one of the items on the declaration also includes not firing of weapons during the amnesty period. So firing during festivals, weddings and all that have been declared not to be proper. If you do, the police would arrest you. And so basically, these are of the things that the amnesty is seeking to do. And the idea is very simple. We have too many illicit weapons, be they sidearms, shotguns, like the pump action and the single barrel, double barrel, and AK-47, M16s, and then the G series, and all. I mean, there are all manner of weapons in the hands of people. The idea is people should surrender them, and an amnesty is a legal instrument that gives you immunity. You are immune from prosecution. You are immune from arrest if you surrounded it. You are immune from interrogation if you surrounded it within the period. And for those who want to regularize their weapon, assuming you have a weapon and you are not sure, send it to the nearest police station and ask that you want to use the amnesty period to probably regularize it. They will take you will be taken through the process. Registration is not immediate. After the amnesty, a lot of background checks will be done, and if you are allowed by the law to possess a weapon, you would be, legally registered. The gun will be legally registered to you. And let me also put it out that we are doing this to ensure that we can take inventory of weapons that are in circulation in this country. You and I know that if you have a car that is registered to you, you will not give it to people who would use it to commit a crime, neither would you use it to commit a crime. And so the idea is not to stop people from possessing just firearms, but to ensure that we are able to also regularize those who have them and might want to also regularize them. Bring them. You will not be prosecuted. After the amnesty, due process is followed, and you are allowed to own a weapon, it will be registered and passed on to you, legal. But then we will know who has the weapon and who doesn't have the weapon.
All right, Doc, what safeguards are in place to ensure that individuals returning stolen weapons under the amnesty are not involved in violent crimes linked to those firearms?
Well, the amnesty is clear that there is no arrest, there is no prosecution, and there is no interrogation. There is you are free. Bring the weapon. The amnesty says that even if you stole the weapon from the states, surrender the weapon, and there will not be arrest, there will not be prosecution. We don't want a situation where after the amnesty, suits are going to be conducted, and we know those who have these weapons. Just return them. If you don't and you are arrested, you will be prosecuted by the law and may be sent to prison for up to 15 years. Because possession of illegal weapons can take you in a second degree. You can go in for 15 years. We are trying to avoid that. And so whether the weapon has been used to do A or B, if your mandate is just to return the weapon, as you have it, to the police as soon as possible. Immediately. Don't keep it with you. take advantage of the amnesty. You see, weapons, unlike drugs, when people are in possession of drugs they want to do, they use it and they ingest the drugs, and it might destroy it themselves. But one illicit weapon can travel the 16 regions of this country. My commission traced a weapon that was used in commissioning a crime in Ghana, and this weapon has traveled 16 countries before it ended up in Ghana to be used to commit a crime. And so weapons are lethal tools that have stayed. Some of them can stay on the shelf for 100 years. As we speak, we have had First World War weapons have been found in Ghana and used in commissioning crime. Second World War weapons, the Balkans War, weapons that were used there, some of them have found their way here and have been used in commissioning crime. And so what we are trying to do is to ensure that we retrieve as many illicit weapons as possible, but also refuse. The law will come hard at you, and at that point, you can't say that I didn't know. It's the reason why it's good to have yourselves as a media, one of the biggest media houses in the country, engaging us so that people don't come in feeling and to say, I didn't know, because that will not be an excuse anyway.
Doc, how will the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons verify and account for the weapons surrendered, especially stolen police arms, to prevent them from re-entering circulation?
Well, our mandate also includes tracing weapons and marking weapons. And so I can tell you that all weapons that have been surrendered are being marked and are going to be marked by my commission. We have the instruments that will digitally engrave markings. We code them, and then we put them on a database. Weapons that are not supposed to go back, are not supposed to be regularized and given to the owners, are going to be destroyed. And this will be done in the public gallery. And so your multimedia will be called. Your media houses, all of you will be called to come and witness the ceremonial destruction of these weapons that have been surrounded and must be destroyed. One of the things we have also put in place is transparency mechanisms. When you bring a weapon, we have chips and we have forms that we take inventory of the weapon you have surrounded. We take note of everything. We give you a receipt of surrender. And then we have a copy of that receipt of surrender. That then helps us to know how many people have surrendered. Additionally, a photographic image of that weapon is taken, and that is also put on a database. And so all these things have been done to ensure that weapons that are surrounded, be they from state armory, be they from civilians, or those who are stolen them from the state armory or the police or the military or other security services, or weapons that were stolen from Burkina Faso have ended up also being found in Ghana. All these weapons, when we get them, we are able to tell that, okay, they are from here, they need to be destroyed. We have a weapon destruction machine that was donated to the Republic of Ghana through the European Union, from the European Union through ECOWAS to the 16, to all of us in ECOWAS. And Ghana, we have ours. And so that will be used eventually to destroy these weapons. And you will be there. It destroys the weapon once it is put in, it destroys it immediately. And therefore, this weapon will not find its way back into where it was picked.
Doc, what assurances can you give the public that this will not embolden criminal networks or repeat offenders?
Well, you see, as for those, you see, a criminal would have the opportunity to change if he wants to change. The good thing is that Ghana has a mechanism to arrest those who want to ferment trouble. And you can see that since the declaration was done by the Interior Minister, we have seen a significant reduction of gun violence in this country. usually around this time yearly, you will see gun-related violence and sporadic shooting and all that, apart from conflict areas where you will say these things have taken place, even though with the amnesty. Literally what you have done, what we have seen since the declaration is reduction in the entire country of violent crimes by the use of weapons. And also, to answer you directly with regards to repeat offenders, the idea is that we don't want these weapons going in there. And so, every weapon we retrieve means that it is 1 or 100 crimes that weapon we have committed. And so, if you bring the weapon and you go back to find another weapon, chances are that you will be arrested. And let me also say that after the amnesty, we are going to use the informant regime or the informant mechanism, where if A has a weapon and fails to surrender the weapon in time within the period, B, who knows A has a weapon, B will come and report to us. B will tell us we are using a mechanism to report to us anonymously. And then B will be given cash rewards. A will be arrested with a weapon. And A will be prosecuted and sent to prison. And B will go free because B gave us the information. And one thing is that those who have weapons, people know they have them. And so surrender them. If you do, people will know today. If you don't, chances are that when the amnesty ends, and if we are putting that if any informant comes to us and the informant will work with them. But we didn't want a situation where we go on schools and every day we are arresting 100 people. So for instance, you go to the Upper West, where the Upper West Regional Commander is closed. When we were there recently, your colleague, Rafik Salam, in fact, actually even broadcasted it. More than 100 weapons have been surrounded in the Upper West. So you can imagine if we were conducting a swoop in the Upper West or in West, and we arrest 100 people in a day, and all these people have to go to prison. Some of these people, it is not their intention. They didn't even know that owning a weapon without registration is illegal. Recently, we picked up a weapon in the Volta region. This person had an AK-47, and he was too afraid that if he surrounded it, he would be arrested. He called. A team from us from the police went to the Volta region and picked up the AK-47, took him through the process. The person is still in the Volta region, and the AK-47 is in self-custody. This AK-47 would have been used to commit atrocities in this country. And so all we are doing is encouraging Ghanaians to surrender their weapons. Look at what is happening to our staff, and to our neighbors around the world and around the sub-region. Most of them have been put on a certain visa restriction to America and the rest. And the simple reason is insecurity. We are counted to be one of the peaceful countries in the world. We must guard against any violence. And therefore, mine is that we are collaborating together with all of you, civil society, the media, everyone involved as a Ghanaian and non-Ghanaians living in Ghana and outside, to make sure that we can retrieve these weapons to make Ghana a safe haven. We are retrieving so many hundreds of, into their thousands have been surrounded. Into their thousands have been surrounded since the declaration. It's looking very good. These weapons would have been in the hands of people, and it needlessly would have been used to harm people. And so we want to make sure we retrieve them. No prosecution, no arrest, and no interrogation. You go free. Just surrender and walk. That's it. Finish.
All right, Doc, tell us about the specific role that the police stations are playing during the amnesty period and how officers are being trained to implement the no arrest, no questioning directive uniformly across the country.
Well, just like I told you, we started, before the amnesty declaration, we have started planning the 6 months on before the eventual declaration on the 1st of December. And the planning went all the way to the interior, then had the cabinet approval. One of the plans was to train officers, the firearms units, those who deal with registration and the rest from all the 1,300 police districts, and all of certain people to be training up. After the training, they went back to train other officers. And they have given specific instructions. When people come, do not ask them where did they get the weapon from. Take the weapon, take details of the weapon, take details you must take from them, and give them their counterpart of the chips, and then return your counterpart of the chips, and you are done. The weapon is then kept in the safe custody. I would want you, when you are done, to open your phone lines for people to call you and say they have heard that all over the country, the police have 25 administrative regions of the Ghana Police Service. We have 16 administrative regions of the Republic of Ghana in terms of administration, 16 regions. Whether one person, the thousands of weapons that are being surrounded, whether one person can say that he went there and he was asked to pay a toll or $1, or he went there and he was arrested or detained. No single person. And I'm telling you that we have, from us, the collaboration. People have called us and we have come to their homes to pick weapons because they were afraid to bring the weapons. We picked and went through the process, gave them the action, so that the chip is supposed to allow for accountability and transparency. So no one can actually say, I was asked unnecessary questions. No. Nobody will ask where the weapon came from. No one. And so all we are saying is that surround the weapon. Our interest is we want the weapon surrounded in the state. We are not interested in where did you get the weapon? Who gave it to you? No. Surrounded the weapon with affiliation to us. The state is interested in you surrounding the weapon. And no interrogation, no arrest, no detention. Nobody will ask you unnecessary questions. And nobody can say, I have been arrested. I gave you the typical example of what we went there, and no one has complained. The public joined us on our walk. We sensitized the public together with the media. We did training, sensitization, and all that. And no one has come up to say, I was arrested unnecessarily. No. And that is not that. Amnesty is a legal instrument. It's a legal instrument that provides immunity for people to something that was illegal. Once an amnesty is declared, it means that you are immune if you are allowed to do ABCD without any prosecution. But when it ends, then the law is back to its fighting force. That is the essence of the amnesty.
Doc, so tell us, after January 15, which is the deadline, what enforcement measures will be activated to deter illegal possessions of firearms, and how prepared is the state to implement them?
Oh, the state is very prepared. I told you the amnesty had approval from cabinet. My minister, together with his team, when the small arms made a proposal to the ministry, it went through the ministry to cabinet, and cabinet gave its blessing. The state is resourced enough to ensure that every resource needed will be put activated. The police is there. You can see the police is making sure our cities are safe. Immigration, they are making sure our cities are safe. Even that now you have the cyber security. Everybody is playing a role together with the Small Arms Commission. I did mention about the informants regime. Informants will be paid handsomely when they provide us information about people who have a weapon. And informant is a form of fight crime. About people get the information, and when you pay that, right, you pay that. I think that the time you think is as simple as the first part of it. He said, they have, and then from the I know. We move, we get this. B is given the reward portion, and then it's prosecuted with it. And that's exactly who are that. So those who are listening and watching us, all we are saying is that don't allow yourself to think that, oh, for me, I can get away with it. No one is living on an island with that. Your own wife, your own brother, who is broke, or even if he's not broke, is going to call us and tell us, my husband has a weapon under the bed. You will fight with your girlfriend will come and tell us that you have a weapon. And that girlfriend of yours, we will give you that girlfriend, we'll give her money.
Right.
And then we'll arrest you. So
that's right.
There's all these mechanisms. And we'll be contacting.
All right, Doc. All right, Doc. Now.
Checks and all that. So those are some of the things we are going to roll out one step together with a lot of measures.
All right, Doc. All right, Doc. Before you go, we're in the festive season, and we know that there was a ban on the use of knockouts, but we still see, that people are using knockouts even in this season. What are the enforcement? Or what enforcement is the commission, putting in place, and is the ban still in place?
As for the ban on firecrackers, it is still in place. As far as the commission is aware, it hasn't been lifted. But it's a conversation that has come up. Another conversation that has come up has to do with toy guns. But it's a conversation we have activated with the Ministry of the Interior and Allied Security Agencies. I want to urge that give us some time whilst we discuss it, because then we want to be focused on retrieving lethal weapons. But these issues have come up. And so it's something that we have discussed at the policy level with the minister and the other allied security agencies. I believe that something is going to be done about it.
Doc, is that to say that... Doc, is that to say the commission is aware that people are still using these firecrackers or knockouts?
Yes, I mean, you will hear people. I don't know anyone who has discharged a firecracker, but while you are home, you will hear a firecracker that has been discharged. So we are aware, but what I'm saying is that it's something that is being discussed, how to tackle it. It is going to be, you will hear very soon what is going to be done moving forward. But that I would defer that to the Minister of the Interior and the rest. So I would want to concentrate on the amnesty and the rest.
Well, Doc, just to inform you that this festive season, there are so many firecrackers that are being sold. In fact, at Dankwa Circle, there are so many sellers, who have put up these firecrackers and are selling.
Well, just like you are saying, like I said, it is something that has come to the notice of government, the notice of the commission, the police, the interior minister and his team and everybody. But my mandate was to ensure that we retrieve lethal weapons. I will defer the issue of firecrackers. We have discussed it at a level, but it is something that is illegal, but it will be dealt with. So you give us some time. I believe that it's something that I wouldn't want to make any pronouncement on them in terms of punitive measures and all that, because the laws are clear. Don't sell, don't discharge, and don't use firecrackers. But I think for some time, people have used it. So you give us some time. It's something that we have taken notice of. A decision will be made very soon with regards to how to tackle it. By the way, we are tackling lethal weapons. I'm sure that a decision will be made, and I believe our mandate is to help make the country safer. Well,
thank you very much, Dr. Adam Bona, who is the Executive Secretary of the National Commission of Small Arms and Light Weapons. Now, concerns have been raised about the increasing abuse of opioids and other illicit drugs in the Upper West region, particularly among the youth. Statistics from the Mental Health Unit of the Ghana Health Service indicates that about 700 people have suffered from drug-induced mental disorders in the region within the past 2 years. The latest group to join the campaign is the Muslims Intellectuals Network, which is taking to the streets to engage residents and raise awareness about the adverse effects of drug abuse. Rafiq Salam reports from WA.
The prevalence rate of the abuse of opioids and other illicit drugs, particularly tramadol, cannabis, and red, is widespread among the youth in the Upper West region. Statistics from the Mental Health Unit of the Upper West Directorate of the Ghana Health Service revealed that about 700 people within the space of 2 years has suffered from mental disorders as a result of drug abuse in the region. The Airports Regional Minister Charles Wongo Pozun has waged war on the abuse of drugs and has therefore formed an anti-drug abuse task force to deal with the menace.
The expected outcomes of this task force is that, one, we need a holistic region-wide fight against drug abuse, a significant reduction, if not eradication, of the menace, and three, a model of citizen-led accountability and governance rooted in transparency and courage. 4, a revived sense of confidence in our law enforcement systems. 5, a new social culture that stigmatizes drug abuse.
Justice of the Supreme Court of Ghana and an indigene of the region, Justice Emmanuel Yoni Kulendi, on his part, focused on sensitizing and educating youth groups, particularly students in second cycle institutions, on the dangers associated with the abuse of substances. He squeezed some time out of his busy schedule to speak to students of his former school, Wasina High School, during the school's SRC Week celebration.
Eat away their careers, it eats away their lives, eats away their fortunes, eats away their means. They got there to the point where they have to cross into glory. It didn't happen. Some got retired prematurely, some got marking time at a position because he's either has an alcohol addiction or has a marijuana addiction or has a tramadol addiction or has a cocaine addiction, and those things will just destroy your life.
The latest group to join the fight against drug abuse in the region is the Muslims Intellectuals Network. They took the campaign to the streets to drum home the message of the need to keep off from opioids and other illicit drugs. Joined by students from the 25 recognized Islamic schools in the municipality, they went round some principal streets. Dr. Mumun Said is one of the leaders of Muslim Intellectuals Network and a member of the Regional Anti-Drug Abuse Task Force, and we threw further light on it.
In an attempt to celebrate our 10 years anniversary, we decided that instead of just doing a one straight away, we have to sensitize the youth, the teeming youth of the municipality against the causes and then the adverse consequences of drug abuse.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam. Wow.
Well, you're still live on JoyNews Desk. I'm Sheila Secha. We take a break here. When we come back, Daryl Kwao takes us into the world of business. Stay with us.
Hi, welcome to Business. My name is Daryl Kwao. Ghana is expected to receive fresh funding from the World Bank, the African Development Bank, and other development partners in the coming weeks following the successful completion of the 5th review of the IMF program. The review has triggered the disbursement of about $380 million to support the country's economic recovery. Here's more.
Ghana signed up to the IMF program in May 2023. It was supposed to come with some financial support. That is some $3 billion spread over 3 years. However, there was another clause in the agreement that will see other partners support Ghana after successfully completing each review. The World Bank has already advanced more than $2 billion to Ghana based on the significant progress the country has made under the IMF program. Majority of this funding has been advanced towards the energy sector, financial, poverty reduction, as well as governance. Other donors like Germany is also expected to come on board to support the country. Some are of the view that the IMF program is not just about the money being disbursed, but rather the associated reforms and restoration of investor and donor confidence in the Ghanaian economy.
Now, as artificial intelligence continues to transform the global business space, Ghana's MSMEs are being encouraged to adopt technology to drive growth. The message was delivered by Juliana Asabia Darko on behalf of the Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry at the UNDP Ghana Nimdye series in Accra.
We recognize that technology is a strategic enabler of economic transformation. The Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry Through the MSME Directorate continues to implement targeted policies and programs aimed at building a resilient and technology-driven private sector. These include working with ecosystem partners to enhance access to digital tools and innovation apps, facilitating engagement that help MSMEs integrate technology into their business operations, aligning our national MSME and entrepreneurship policies with global technology. Today's NIMDIA session strongly aligns with these national priorities. The platform UNDP has created for knowledge sharing, skill development, and innovation exchange is essential to support the growth of a modern, competitive MSME sector.
Resident representative of UNDP Ghana, Niloy Banerjee, emphasized the role technology plays in helping small businesses advance.
How we are using technology to supports particularly small businesses. I won't go into the statistics of small businesses. You know that they are major employers in any economy. My last 3 postings before that have been in countries which are almost developed countries or developed countries, but yet even in that end of the spectrum, small businesses are absolutely key to 2 things. One, of course, the GDP, the gross domestic product, but they're also key to employment. Small businesses employ by far the largest numbers of people in the private sector. And that, colleagues, makes it imperative for us to try and see how small businesses can leapfrog. And I really think this is where we can bring technology to work with particularly our small businesses.
All right, and that's it for this segment. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Handing you back to Sheila, the hardworking Sheila, who needs a break.
I do need a break, Daryl. I do need a break. Well, that's how we wrap up News Text this morning. I'm Sheila Sechi. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. Have a good morning.